Oh, hello. Thanks for being here. You may be wondering why I've called you all here today. Well, I've been absent for a while. Let's talk about that. So I've gotten a few calls and messages lately being, hey, Randy, the mad poet, what's going on? We haven't seen you online in a while. No videos, no new albums, no streams. Where you been? So what's been going on is last October, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. Rather a severe case. For those who may not be familiar with the affliction, sleep apnea is when you stop breathing during your sleep. Breathing being kind of something I enjoy, didn't go real well. This kind of started, it's been building over the last few years. When Sarah and I first moved in together, I didn't snore at all. We both slept very peacefully. Then a few years ago, she started noticing some snoring, and about a year or so back, she started noticing some choking, and it got quite significantly worse. We got me in for a sleep study, and we're kind of fortunate through her work. We've got rather good insurance, so this was something we were able to do. And so I did the sleep study, and it turns out that I am stopping breathing 45 times an hour while I sleep. Not 45 times a night, 45 times an hour throughout the night. So well over 300 times a night. Basically, every minute and a half, I just stop breathing for about 15 to 20 seconds. Which means cumulatively, throughout the course of the night, I would be not breathing for around 3 or more hours. You can imagine this may not be the most healthful way to go about things. And as the condition increased, it really knocked me over. And it's just kind of like getting punched in the brain is the best way I can describe it. You just ended up feeling completely useless. After the sleep study, we got a prescription for a CPAP, which is a continuous positive airway pressure machine. And it's kind of the gold standard for treatment of sleep apnea, and it's done me a lot of good. I've been doing that for about 7 months now, 6 months, 7 months, somewhere in there. And definitely it's kind of it's very interesting affliction, because both the condition and the treatment is, the way people respond is wildly different. And I've been on a lot of forums now, read a lot of stories and heard a lot of stories about other people who have this. Now I've talked to some of my friends who have dealt with apnea, and it's completely different for, it seems like, almost everybody. And I've just had some really horrid brain fog. I found that, kind of one of the main things for me as an improvisational musician is my improv just started to suck. It was so bad. And that's why I wasn't doing my online shows, because I was like, I would, do a recording and I'll listen back and I'm like, that is just not up to par for what I do as a musician. Didn't like it. And so I wasn't going online, and I wasn't doing, putting out albums, because I didn't feel they were up to my personal standards. And it's not a place I like to be. And brain fog just continually got worse. In fact, when we went to pick up the machine, the CPAP, I asked Sarah to drive. I was just like, I feel like it's not safe for me to drive right now. I felt like I was not able to properly concentrate to operate a motor vehicle. And fortunately, I'm not so big, I'm a man, I can do anything. So I was willing to ask for a bit of help there. And I think that was probably a good move. So I've been doing this, and it's been a little up and down. We've tried there are different masks that we've tried, and we're honing in. I've got my sleep doctor and the team seem very good. Definitely on the forums, I've seen some stories that there are a lot of really bad sleep doctors out there and sleep clinics. It's very unfortunate. Some people, and this is kind of worldwide, have some very bad experiences. I've been pretty fortunate, and so we're getting things dialed in. We're working it out. I'm feeling a lot better. I think probably the coolest thing about it is you may recall the childhood taunt from the playground when we were much younger of up your nose with a rubber hose. Well, I just kind of want to go back to everyone who ever said that to me and be like, hey, got you covered every night. Doing it. But it is getting me back on track a bit, I feel. And but prior to the sleep apnea really starting to hit, I had finished all the recordings for my 67th album. It's titled Unfound Paths. One of the songs is available on my Discord if you want to go hear it. I'm very pleased with the way that album turned out. And I feel like with that album, I finally got the production to where I was really happy with it. I should say I got it to where I wanted it. So with my production up from So my first album was done in a very different way. My second album to my 54th album was passable. It was acceptable. And then I feel like I made a really big leap on The Patron Saint of Murderers, album number 55. I kind of started moving it more in the direction that I wanted it to be. And then on album 65, you may or may not be familiar with the story. I spent a lot of time on that, and with the help of my friends Jake and Ray, really made some big leaps in the production there. I finally got it to where I would say I was happy with the production, and still am with that. And then I kind of took the principles that Ray and Jake helped me with and kind of amped those up and put them on steroids. And I feel like the production on Unfound Paths and Asemic Writings, which is also done, really what I was looking for. This, I think, is from the perspective of composition, production, performance, these two albums, I believe, are my best work. So what happened is I got done with Unfound Paths, and getting all the brain fog and stuff, and I wasn't doing shows, so I did all the recordings for Asemic Writings Part 4. For those who may not be familiar, the Asemic Writings series is every 17th album that I release is part of the Asemic Writings series. And those albums always have just one song, and that song is exactly 52 minutes, 25 seconds long. And it does have a particular theme I always play somewhere in the song. And it may take a very significant role, it may take a smaller role. That is kind of the Asemic Writings theme. And so those were my just kind of rules for it. So this being my 68th album will be my fourth, 17th album, because, math and stuff. And so I would do these recordings, and all of the rhythm guitars and everything, that was fine. But when I got to doing the improvisational guitar solos, it was just garbage. I was not happy with any of my guitar solos at all. And so I wasn't going to release this. And it just, continued to remind me that, this is why I should not be actively doing shows right now. Because if I can't do a good recording in a studio setting, then getting the lights going and standing up and moving around, that's not going to make things work any better. So once the therapy started to work a little bit, and my brain started getting back in order, started doing some better guitar solos, and finally sat down a while back and Did some solos, worked out all the solos in a day, and I listened to it and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. My kind of big thing with my listening is I always like to get out of the studio setting and go on a walk, go on a jog, something, and listen out there where it's more of a listening experience, kind of a real world kind of a thing. So I'm very happy with it. So yes, those two albums are completely done. Have not released either of them. Like I said, there's just one song available on my Discord, but they came out great. So I'm definitely getting back to a place where now I feel that I can do some of this, and I will hopefully be doing shows in the near future. That is my current plan. I'm hoping to do some more videos. I've got a lot of video ideas. And again, I would sit down to try to film a video, and it was just, I didn't think it was good enough to release, so I did not release it. And so that's where things have been going. Particularly with Unfound Paths, there is, let me back up a little bit. On every album that I release, I dedicate a song to someone I know, someone I like, someone I've worked with. And on album number 67, Unfound Paths, there's a song called Rain Over Nowhere. And this is my first time that I'm considering this to be a tribute album, or sorry, a tribute song. And this is a tribute to a gentleman named Ron Smith. He passed back up, probably 7 or 8 years ago now, I believe. And he was a very important figure in my kind of coming of age story as a guitarist. And I'll do a separate video just about Ron and what I learned from Ron. And so I really wanted to go beyond just dedicating a song to him. So I did this song called Rain Over Nowhere, which is, RON. It's an acronym. As a tribute to Ron. And this song is another very long song. It's 33 minutes, 33 seconds. Actually, it's 33 minutes, 33.333 seconds, because I'm insane like that. And like when I do the asemic writings, the 52 minutes, 25 seconds, I bring those down to within 1/1000th of a second. It is as close as I can possibly get. And Rain Over Nowhere, I think, is my best work to date. I really enjoy that song. I think until I did Rain Over Nowhere, my favorite of all of my songs is a piece called Fistful of Light off of Incomprehensible Isolation, my 65th album. And that song was kind of the impetus to take my production to a new level. And there's a whole story behind Fistful of Light that I'm not going to tell right now. But as I started listening to Rain Over Nowhere, I was listening to it for working on production. And then finally I got to where I was listening to it just because I enjoyed it so much. And I was like, this finally beats Fistful of Light. And I have listened to Rain Over Nowhere, a song that's more than a half hour long, over 300 times. And last summer, when I would go out for exercise, I had actually had some problems with my ankles, so I wasn't running. I was just going for a walk every day. And on that walk, I listened to that song almost every single day. Haven't gotten tired of it yet. Just listened to it earlier today. I was out on a 7-mile run. I listened to that in most of Asemic Writings Part 4. Asemic Writings Part 4, I think I've probably listened to like 40 or 50 times now. Really dig both of these songs. I'm very pleased with where that's all gone. Hopefully, once that comes out, other people will enjoy it. I know that not a lot of people listen to songs that are that long, but that's their problem, not mine. That could be a whole other video about how long songs work. So yeah, that's kind of the update of Randy's life. And another thing that I recently did, I got together with my buddy Steven digitally and did an interview with him. And I'm hoping to do kind of a little bit of an interview series in the near future of just musicians that people have not heard about. And I've kind of got some ideas of where I want to go with this. He and I sat down, had just a great conversation, and we've known each other for a couple of decades now. Very cool guy. I think that'll be a very enjoyable conversation for people to listen to, particularly musicians. And so it's been a lot of fun. I do got a lot in the works. I have not been giving up on music. I have not been giving up on life. I'm still out there doing that thing and really enjoying it. And so hopefully, there's going to be a lot more coming up soon. I feel like I'm getting back on track. I'm not going to make any promises about how often videos will be coming out, how often I will be online, or when that will happen. But it definitely is part of the plan. So hopefully this will answer any questions that you've had about what's been going on with me. Feel free to reach out on the Discord if you have any other questions, concerns, comments, hypotheses, inquiries of any kind. And hopefully we'll be seeing you again in the near future. Until then, go get it.